more thing I want to tell you all is, you all might have heard from people that Linux is difficult. I don't know. This used to be a thing earlier, nowadays it's lesser. Linux is not difficult. It's only a perception. I've seen kids use it in schools and they picked it up very fast. They didn't find it difficult at all. The reason was no one told them it was difficult. We go with our preconceived notions and we think it's difficult. Pardon? It's easy, correct? Because it's a GUI which is the same. So, easy to install today. It wasn't always like this. Easy to use. But a lot of the time, because you're using it graphically, but even DOS and Windows, do you all use it at the command line? The command prompt? Not really. Command prompt, the terminal can actually be liberating. Once you learn the commands, okay, you'll find that it is so much easier to do your stuff with commands rather than going clickety-click with your mouse. There are a few, in case you have used DOS, there are a few things you should know about the differences between DOS and Linux. The first thing is, everything in Linux is case sensitive. It's not in DOS. You can type in uppercase and lowercase, it means the same thing. File names, commands, etc. Not in Linux. Okay? This is a legacy that's inherited from Unix, so you have to be careful. Even when you're logging in, your username and passwords, they are case sensitive. All the commands, their options, everything is case sensitive. Okay? You can't mix. Second thing is your directory separator. You are used to it. You will type the backslash and call it as forward and call it a slash. Okay? In Windows, it is a backward slash. It goes in the reverse, left to right. In Unix and Linux, it's the forward slash. The one that you use on your http:// that's a forward slash. Unix uses a forward slash as a directory separator. Then your command options. In DOS, your command options start with a forward slash. dir/w. Correct? In Linux, that's a directory separator that cannot be used for options. The options are given with a hyphen, minus sign, or a double minus sign. Usually, double minus gives you the long version of an option. Like it will be -L or double hyphen list. Sometimes the same option is given in multiple ways. Sometimes you will only have a single option. You will have to look at the description of the command, what options are there and how they are to be used. As I said earlier, there is no consistency. You'll have to check out each command separately. Another thing in DOS, you'll notice that space between the command and the option character is not mandatory. You can type dir/w with no spaces and it will work. Not so in Linux. You will have to have your command followed by a space followed by your option. Okay? Now, if you can open up your terminals, you can try out a few commands. Don't know how to open a terminal, right? Very first one on top. Who am I? Unix started off straight away as a multi-user, multitasking operating system. So, you all are used to working on PCs, single person using it. DOS came in as a single user operating system, no security, no concept of users, which was implemented much later. In Windows. Who am I? No spaces. Enter and you will see, it will tell you. You will get going. AM, no space, no spaces. There's one word. It tells you who you are logged in as. Useful. Because students are there working on a system You want to find out someone left a terminal open. Who was the person last logged in there? Who left it behind? Type in who am I? You come to know. Now, in the directory structure, where are you currently? PWD, print working directory. It's a command that tells you where you are. In DOS, typing cd, which is a command to change directory, tells you where you are. Not so here. cd by itself will take you to your home directory. It's like, you have seen the Star Trek serial or the movies? And they tell you, beam me up Scotty, to take you back to your spaceship. Okay? That's your cd command without any options. cd by itself, change directory by itself will take you back home. You're lost, you don't know where you are, just type cd, you're back home. Every user on the system has a home directory. Usually it is /home/ your login name. But it could be different. It depends how the system is configured. cd followed by a path will take you to that directory. cd followed by path. Path could be absolute or it could be relative. Absolute paths start with /. That's called the root directory of any file system. And from there we can separate directories by slashes. Or it could be a relative path relative to where you are. If it does not start with a slash, it's a relative path. So if in your current directory there is a subdirectory, you can say cd space and the subdirectory name and will take you to it. Dot represents your current directory, double dot represents the parent directory. So you can use that to navigate. The tilde character represents your home directory. You all know which is a tilde character? Yeah, the little squiggly. Correct? So tilde represents your home folder. So you may be somewhere deep down in your directory structure and you want to go into a subdirectory of your home directory. Two ways to do it. Type cd, enter, you go back to your home directory, followed by cd and your path to the subdirectory where you want to go to. Or alternatively, you can type cd space tilde / the subdirectory name of your home directory and you can go there. You can give a relative path. cd is a command you have used in DOS also. Slight variation from there. So if you have used commands in DOS, this will not be so difficult. If you have only been using the GUI, you will find it a little tough, not very. Anyone facing any problems, issues, please ask at this point itself. Yeah. You have to speak a bit louder. With my age, I'm a little hard of hearing. We'll come to it. Okay? It may not be installed on your system. Installed? Okay. In DOS, you can either use the command mkdir to create a directory or you can also use md. You cannot do that on Linux. You have to use the full command mkdir. But there's a nice beautiful option. Yeah, you have to create directories by first creating one directory, then you want to create a subdirectory under it. So say you want to create directory A /B. So you want to create directory A, then create directory A/B. But mkdir has a nice option. It's got an option called -p. That means create the parent directories also. So you can say mkdir A/B/C and create all of them at one shot. rmdir to delete a directory. DOS I think has rd for this. But the caveat is there. It will only delete the directory with the same. It will not delete it if it has any content, either a subdirectory or files. It's a safety measure. You can try. You can make a directory, you can delete a directory and see. Since I think tree is not installed on your systems, you can always install it later. It's very easy. Just made a small directory structure to show you all. See, this is the output of the tree command. It will list the directories and their files. I don't want to see all the files. There could be hundreds and thousands of them, right? So then you can do D minus D. Directories only. So I'll give you a directory structure. Your systems have a net connection right now? So it is 1 second. Just command is tree itself. You can, I don't know if you have super user privileges here or how they have configured your system. You can try apt space install space tree. It will ask you, it should ask you your password and then install the program. Apt space your password of your logged in user. What you're logged in as, usually. All of you all just do it, just install it and then try out the tree command. Find something listed. Control C to abort it in between. Oh, it's over. Minus D. No, space. Tree space minus D. Not just minus D. Tree space minus D. Minus D is an option to it. Directories only. Again, a huge list. Let everyone get to the stage and I'll talk about the next part. Use LibreOffice's Impress software. LibreOffice, that's your office suite now, not Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office costs how much? Any idea? Huh? 4,000? No? Try buying it. Go to the shop. It's over 20,000. No. 365 is an annual subscription. That is not a software that you can buy and install on your software system. You want to install, you have to buy. Photoshop, how much? Huh? 50, 60,000, right? The amount of software that I have on my laptop will run into lakhs of rupees if I have to buy it. LibreOffice is free. GIMP is free. Okay? Inkscape is free. That's the equivalent of your Corel Draw. Another 60, 70,000. So, for your presentation, you all will use, if you're used to PowerPoint, you can use LibreOffice's Impress. But that is not the only software that you can use. There are lots and lots of options. For example, my presentation here, I have not used Impress. I have used just a small, simple text editor to create my presentation. Okay? I'll show you the contents of my presentation. This is the contents of my presentation. That's how I've written it. Okay. And I'm sure that is just a shortcut I created for it. That's not the command. The command is actually MGP. The software is called Magic Point. Okay. And I can use this. Someone wanted these back. Okay? I will, if there is a Magic Point is not installed on your systems, you can again install MGP and you can install it. A copy of this MGP file I will make available to you all. I think I don't know how you all will make available to the rest of them, either through your CARES website or through the Moodle site, one of them. Small text file, that's all it is. This again is not the only one. There are lots of such programs available. Okay, this is showing your output graphically. There are presentation software available that actually output text that can be shown in the terminal itself. So, you all when you're creating presentations for your students, you can use these tools. These are easy to use, they are not heavy. Microsoft Office, LibreOffice, they take up oodles of RAM, they are slow to start. This ordinary text editor, I think tomorrow you all will be covering VI. That's a text editor. You can just use that to create this. Simple, fast. Okay? Okay, so you all want to try out these commands again? Go ahead. I make dir with a minus key option to create subdirectories, then see the visual representation by looking at tree minus d, see how what you have created. Currently I am in the subdirectory, so T doesn't mean anything much. Okay. Now some of you when you are trying out, you are seeing that the tree is giving you a huge output, you have a big tree structure there. Suppose you want to restrict how much you see. You can give it an option like minus capital L and the depth to which you want to see it. 2, only up to 2 subdirectories need. Only one level B. You can restrict. Try it out and see. is D. Okay? I'll give you a list of directories. I'll do it through command line, you do it through UI. We'll finish it faster. Command line. GUI is slow. Very, very slow. Second, have you ever done remote administration? Any of you all? Huh? Long distance through, connect to my PC or one of those other UI software? Okay? How slow was that? And if you are on a slow line, imagine, okay, today, almost everyone has an 100 Mbps connection at home. Right? What if you are on a dial-up connection? Okay, nobody uses dial-up today, sorry. My bad. Okay, my age is sure. What you are using your data on your phone, mobile. You've got a bad connection. Okay, slow. Couple of 100 kbps is the only speed you're getting. Have you tried any time doing a remote administration? I have. At 64 kbps I have done it. A job that would have taken me 5 or 10 minutes took me 4 hours to do. Yeah. Okay, it was still good because it was way back in around 91, 92 and it saved me a trip to Pune. Remote administration. But GUI is very, very slow. Command line, you can SSH, telnet, okay, don't use telnet. Bad idea. Telnet is not secure. That's the whole thing. Today you will use something like SSH. People who are used to Windows, you know something called PuTTY. That's basically SSH on Windows. SSH is safer. Commands. You can work on system thousands of kilometers away as if you're sitting there in front of you. That's the beauty of command line. Not only that, you can then take your expertise, what you've learned on the command line to write your scripts, to automate stuff. How do you do that with GUI? Not possible. That is why the command line is useful. Anyone still holding back or can we move ahead? Yeah? Okay. The last command listed here is list files, ls. I don't know if you can see from far behind what's coming on the screen, but you can definitely type the command on your screen there in front of you and see the results. ls is the command, ls enter. You will see a list of files and directories which are there on your system. In your current directory. Which directory? You can find out by using the command pwd, where am I? Normally, you will say at your home folder, it should be /home/ your login name. But if you have changed and gone into any subdirectory, it will show you the full path to that directory. So, ls gives you all the files in your directory. The ls program has more options than I think you have the total number of commands available in DOS. It's got tons and tons of options. Okay, I'm not going to be covering all of them. Okay. You could be well here tomorrow doing that. You can try but one option. You can try the next option, ls space. Remember, space is important here. Okay? Yes. You can see it here, but this here is a space between ls and -l. Okay? May not be clear on the screen. You got the output? Okay. Can you see the output here on the screen from behind? Is it clear from behind? No, it's not. Okay. Better? Okay. Now, in the short term, I have to cover a lot of topics here, concepts which are not familiar to people working with us. Linux is a multi-user operating system. So, you have users, you have groups. So, every user on the system belongs to at least one group. When you create your files or directories, they have ownership. Who created them? Who owns them? So it's owned by a user and a group. So here, what you're seeing here, I have logged for here. KS. That's the user I've created for this demo. And the user also belongs to a group called KS. So any file that or a directory that I create will have this ownership. So when you do ls-l, that's the long listing, you will see who the owner and the group of that file or directory is. The first part I'll cover a little later. Next is the size of the file or directory. Okay, there's one more concept I want to tell you is that in Unix and Linux, everything is a file. And even you are a file as far as the system is concerned. There's an exception, only network cards are different, otherwise everything is treated as a file. So a directory is also a file actually on the system. And it contains entries for the files or directories under it. So it has a size. When you see a size of a directory, it is the size of the file containing those entries. Next, you will see is the date and time of the creation, and lastly, the name of the file. One more thing about file names. The extension, here I've given .mgp. This is just a hangover from DOS. Linux does not care about file extensions. Just having a file with an extension of .exe will not make it an executable file. So some programs like to have extensions, but Linux doesn't care. I could have called this file just before, or my presentation kept called fos.mgp. I could have just called it fos, and it would still work. Okay. Now, we come to the first part, this portion here. Right from day one, Unix has had a simple but effective security system built in. So, the security is how do you give permission? Okay. So first of all, a Linux system treats your permissions at 3 levels. You are the owner, the group, and everybody else. So you give permissions to the owner, you give permissions to the group, and you give permissions to everybody else. And by the way, you could be a member of more than one group. Okay. But as far as permissions for a file or directory are concerned, they are talking about the group, which is this, which the file or directory belongs to, not your group. If you happen to be in that group, you will get those permissions. Permissions are very simple again. You have the read permission. Obvious, very simple to understand. You have permission to read the file or directory. Reading the directory means listing its contents, seeing what is inside it. The write permission, okay? These are denoted by these symbols here. R for read, W for write. So, write means you can overwrite the file, you can make changes. And X, that is the execute permission. That is if the program is an executable. Just by giving it a permission executable doesn't make a program executable. But for any program to execute, it must have the execute permission, otherwise you will not be able to run it. Execute permission for a directory has a different meaning. You cannot execute a directory. The execute permission for a directory means you have permission to enter the directory. You can cd and go into the directory. If the execute permission is missing for a directory, you will not be able to change into that directory. Again, you means depending whether you are the owner, or you belong to the group, or you are everybody else. So accordingly, your permissions are there. The very first character, which could be a hyphen, is for an ordinary file, D is for a directory. You'll find a lot of these other ones will be there. Okay. They specify what type of file it is. L is a symbolic link. This is similar to what you have as a shortcut in Windows. So I have a shortcut here. I've called a file called Linus linux.org, and it is pointing to a different path. It gives the full path, and I can access this. Okay. Everyone following till this point? Yes. So shortcuts are very simple again. They are just pointers. They are just pointing to another location on the file. And the pointer here is an absolute path. It could also be a relative path. It depends on how you, when you create the pointer, how you do it. Whether you do an absolute or a relative path. Okay. There are others you'll come across. I will not cover all of them right now. There are sockets, there are device files, okay, block devices, character devices. So they have different characters in the first one. But I think at this level, this much is sufficient. Okay. I want to say in the beginning, actually, I missed it. You all have all studied the ratio of the diameter to the circumference of a circle. That's pi. In the school, initially, what we were taught, pi is 3.14. That's the ratio, 22 by 7. That's not accurate, right? Then later on, we learned it is 355 by 113. That's 3.1415. And you can go up to like 3.141569 that's 6 digits. Even that is not accurate. Okay. It's an irrational number. You'll never get the full. Today, I think they have reached something like 2 billion or 6 billion digits, decimal cases. So, I'm covering here. I will sacrifice your accuracy for brevity, because you won't, others will not be able to finish it. Okay, the ls command, the permissions, everything. Okay, the file structures will take a very, very long time. I encourage you all to read. Okay, I'll give you a link to a very nice book which is available online. You can download it in PDF format or you can read it online. I'll come to that later. But this part, the ownership, the permissions, this simple thing, have you understood? I have not covered those commands to change them. There are commands for change ownership, chown, and change permissions, chmod. Okay, to change the file permissions. Read up about them later. Okay, one more option I will give you to check. A nice one. ls. Okay, I can give an option like this: ls minus l minus h. Or many of the programs also allow you to concatenate the options by giving it this way: ls minus lh. This is equivalent to ls minus l minus h. It's a nice one, you will use it at times. Slight difference in the listing. Look at the file sizes now. Yeah, H is for human readable here. Many programs use the minus H for L, but this one uses is for human readable. It's a kind of thing. Right? The big figure there, 144 something. The file size is down to 1.4K. It gives an A, M, G, etc. Okay. One more thing I missed here. Slightly more complex topic, but it's good to understand this. What does this number represent? How are files stored on the disk on a Linux system? When you go into a directory, the directory only contains the name of a file and its inode number. That's all. Just 2 things. That's why a directory, even having hundreds of files, can be very small. Files are stored in inodes. Inode is a structure, a data structure that is there on the disk, which has information about the file, like who is the owner of the file, who created the file, who modified it, when it was, sorry, not who modified, when it was modified. Okay? Where do the contents of the file reside on disk, which are the blocks of the disk which belong to the file. All that is stored in the inodes. So every file has an inode number associated with it. And if we give the option I, the very first thing that you see here, this is the inode number of the file. That's unique. So for a directory, this number 2 here indicates the number of inodes associated with it. That's the inodes which are contents of a directory. That means that is the number of files in that directory. The number of inodes referenced by it. But for all other files, it tells you how many files link to this inode. You have seen shortcuts which are just pointers, but something which is not there in the DOS world. In Linux, you can have 2 file names and possibly sitting in different directories pointing to the same inode. And when you do that, so you have 2 files pointing to one inode, this number will increment to 2. You have 3 of them, it will go to 3, and so on and so forth. When you delete a file, when you give the command to delete a file, okay, what you're basically doing is you're deleting its directory entry, you're not deleting the file. So when you delete, you give the command rm to delete, and you delete the file, it deletes the entry in the directory, and in the inode table, it decrements the link count. So if you had 2 links to it, it will become 1. And when you have 1 link and you remove the file, the link will become 0. At which point in time the inode will be full and the file is actually deleted. But as long as it has 1 or more pointers pointing to it, the file will not actually be deleted from the disk. Okay? So that is called hard links. So you can have hard links to a file. So more than 1 file linking to the same file. I will show it to you. Okay. That's not a command I listed, but ln is the command to link. Okay. I have a file called default.mgp. You notice one thing, when I'm typing pretty fast. I'm just typing with one hand. How am I doing this magic? Any idea? Tab. No, not apero. Tab. Tab is the command completion. Linux has this beautiful thing. Most of the commands support it and it completes for you. It gives you options. There are multiple options and it gives you choices. So I'm going to create this and new. I'm creating a link. Now, if I do this, if I give an option here -s, that is a symbolic link, that is your shortcut. It will create like the one previously I showed you the other file, the Linux file. But if I do not give the -s, then it creates a hard link. Look at it. The new file has an inode number which is identical to the inode number of default.mgp, and now you will notice that the link count of both these files is 2. I can delete either one of them, the file will still exist on the system. The file will not die. Okay? And rm is the command to delete. File gone. The link count of default has gone down to 1. Now if I delete this file, the file will actually disappear from the disk. By the way, that's soundtrack Linux sorry, it wasn't playing from the sound. I tried to play it. But .org is an audio file. Okay. It's available on Wikipedia. You can go there and you can actually play this file. It tells you how Linus Torvalds pronounces Linux. Yeah, actually. Because a lot of people pronounce it differently. Some say Linux, some say something else, some say Linux. Listen to him, he'll tell you the correct pronunciation. Okay, a lot of other commands are here. We'll go over them one by one. We have enough time for that. Or we'll speed up. We have some time, right? Huh? Okay, what time? Huh? Only I'm past my time. Okay, I will have not much. I can go through it a little fast because this is what they'll be using. file is you have to use an editor. Okay. Now, the editor you all are used to, the graphical ones, I don't use those. I use VI. You all will have a session on VI tomorrow. So I will not spend time on, because MGP is a topic by itself. Okay. I will show you the existing file that I have. Okay. 2% signs followed by anything else is a comment. A percentage sign followed by any keyword is a command for MGP. The very first one on top you see percentage include default.mgp. So I'm including the contents of the default MGP file which you just saw on the disk a while back. The next line full of percentage is just a comment, just a line separate. Percentage page. I'm starting a new page to display. Okay. Percentage no default. I have some default settings in my default MGP file. It says ignore all of them. Don't take any default settings. Then it says percentage size 7. That's the size of the font that is going to be displayed. The font is a standard font. Foreground color is white. Vertical gap is 20. Background is black. Okay. B quality is your background image quality. Again, it's an arbitrary number there. They have defined different qualities in it. Then I say percentage center to center my text horizontally on the screen. I give a few blank lines to bring it down on the screen. My text there. Then just a separator line here that has no meaning, and but the next one has percentage page. Start at the next page. Okay. Then I have B gradient background. That's what you see. Blue coming down to black at the bottom. There are lots of options to this. I'll show you. Okay, if you are interested, I'll show you some samples of it. Later on, what you can do with MGP. Then I give, and then I just give a tab. It's already defined. When I give a tab, it should show a square box and it should indent the text. 2 tabs, it will show a dot. 3 tabs, it will show a triangle, and so on and so forth. So, percentage pause. Wait at this point for me to hit the key. Proceed to the next one. Okay? That's how you write your text. And this translates the first one. Text is centered, white text on a black background. Gradient background. The first one gives a title, blank line after that, and then I give my tab so it shows bullet points. Simple to see, so simple to create a presentation with bullet points. Pausing in between and press the next one. Okay. I have not used many of the features here. MGP has got a lot of features. You want to see some stuff? Okay, I will show you. I hold on the control key. I can get my page numbers at the bottom. I can click on them and I can move to any page quickly. Left click moves to the next page. Right button click moves to the previous page. I can also use the up and down arrow keys or space to the next and D character for the previous page. I can hit the middle mouse button and I can actually draw something on the screen. Control L to clear it. You can highlight stuff when you're showing something. And it will quit from here and go back to others you won't finish as they see. I've already run out of time. So quickly through the commands. Touch. Okay, this command is a lot of books and a lot of places on the net. They'll tell you this is a command to create a file. This is actually not a command to create a file. That happens to be its side effect. This command basically changes the timestamp of the file. Okay. So if you have a file, it shows you a date and time. You say touch and put current date and time for the file, or you can give options to give a particular date and time and to put that as the date and time of the file. But if the file does not exist, touch creates an empty file. CP is to copy. The copy command of DOS, COPY, here it is CP. MV. MV is to move or rename. So if in the current directory you give MV space file name space new file name, it will rename the file. If on the other hand, instead of giving the name of a file, you give a name of a directory, it will move the file from the current directory to the target directory. You can also give it a name, a directory path followed by a file name, so it changes directory as well as its name. So we do it in one command. Rm, as you just seen, is to delete a file, remove rm. Rm is a very, very dangerous command. Okay. Linux thinks you are God. You are the owner, you know what you are doing. No questions asked. You say rm file name, it will not ask you, are you sure, yes or no. It will just delete the file. Why? It has a very, very dangerous option called -r. That is recursive. If you say rm space -r space directory name and hit enter, that directory and all its subdirectories and files will be deleted. There is no oops. You hit Ctrl C, you're too late. It's gone. Okay? Systems are very fast these days. You wipe out everything. Okay? You say rm space -r space star, everything in your current directory and all its subdirectory is gone. Okay. Sometimes, okay, commands can be aliased. There's another feature option available. I'm not going to talk in detail about it, but you can alias the command. So in many systems you will find that they have aliased rm to rm space -i. I is for interactive. It will ask you, are you sure, yes or no? But you can give an option F, force. Don't ask me any questions. So rm -rf star, gone, finished. And okay, on a Unix system, like an administrator on Windows, the system super user is called root, R-O-O-T. If you happen to be logged in as root and you give a dangerous command rm-rf slash, that's the root directory, you have just wiped out your entire hard disk. Yes, there are people on the net who give bad advice like this to people. Be careful of the advice that you receive on the net about any commands. Please verify, read up about the command before you type the command in your system. And be careful about spaces. I want to delete all the backup files. For example, rm star.eak. By mistake, I did rm star space.eak. Star has taken precedence, all files gone. Be careful what you type. One more thing about ls before I go further. There is no concept of any property of file being a hidden file. There is no flag as a hidden file. Any file name or directory name starting with dot is by default a hidden file. So when you give ls, it will not show up. But if you say ls -a, it will show up. Then you see two hidden files, dot and double dot. Dot is your current directory, double dot is the parent directory. So cd double dot takes you one level up. Any other file starting with dot. Any, like there's a .notes.txt.st, that's a soft file created by the editor when I had it open. Okay. So that's a hidden file, normally it won't show up. So if you want to see all hidden files except the dot and double dot, you can give capital A. It will show you everything else other than the dot and double dot. Type tells you information about the command. So if you say type ls, it will tell you what ls is. Where it resides on the disk, or if it's a built-in, because you're using a shell. Normally the shell that you're using on Linux is called bash. So it has got some built-in commands. So if you're typing is a built-in command, you say type and the command name will tell you it's a built-in command to bash. Or if it's an external program, it will give you the full path to the program, which will only tell you the path of a program if it's a program on a disk. File will tell you what type of file it is. So if you say file and file name, it will tell you whether it's a text file or ASCII text, or it has got some special characters in it, or if it is an executable program, it will tell you the type of file. Cap is to concatenate files, to join files. Bytes and its output is your screen. So by if you say just cat and a file name, it will dump the entire file onto your screen. If you say cat, file 1, file 2, file 3, it will dump all 3 of them onto your screen. You can redirect the output to the file format. That's how you concatenate files. Mode is a filter. And I'm going to very fast because it is glaring at me for that. Mode was used to see the contents of files. Nobody uses it nowadays because there's something better available called less. It's not less than more, it's more than more. But for fun, they have named it less. Or they do that a lot. And the last command is a very, very important command. This is your go-to head. It's man. Man stands for manual pages. So, and this is the manual page for ls command. And you see, it's this synopsis, description. Okay? You can page through it up and down using the arrow keys, page up, page down keys, and Q to quit. Okay? Oh, look at the number of options that you have here. See what I said earlier? It has got more options than the total number of commands that you find in this. So this is your go-to. Any command, all the commands that you're seeing today, I have only given you a brief about them. Read up the details by looking at the man for this command. Short 5 minutes, just I'll finish this. Sorry. Whenever you run any program on Linux, it opens 3 files for that program by default. They are the standard input, the standard output, and the standard error output. The file handles 1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay? So when you run a program and its output, it goes out on the standard output. By default, that happens to be your screen. But you can redirect it out to somewhere else. The command for that is the greater than. The standard output, so you can say cat, file name, greater than, new file name, and output will go to the new file. Be careful, the new file should not already exist, otherwise it will overwrite it. Less than is for input, standard input, you can redirect an input there, you can read something. 2 greater than is for error output, you can redirect it somewhere else. The errors that come, most programs output their errors on the standard error output, which also by default happens to be a screen, but you can redirect it. To add it to a file, you can use double greater than. So that is append to a file. And the last one, the pipe symbol, the vertical line. This is to join multiple programs together. The output of one program becomes the input of the next. So standard output of one goes to the standard input for the next one. And you can have a multiple pipeline of commands. So there are programs created specially for this purpose, which can then add on their inputs. Example program could be, for example, sort. You want to sort out. So you can say cat file name, pipe to sort, and you sort your file. Again, sorter has got tons of options. How you want to sort your file. There are programs like sed, there are programs like or, reg. Okay, you can use multiple of them and solve your problem. Okay. Last part, finish. There's just references. A lot of these articles are on Wikipedia. One thing I want to tell you all is that your textbook for the 6th standard, in my opinion, has a small error in it. It says Linux was invented by Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvalds did not invent it. He wrote it or created it. You don't invent software. You write it or you create it. Okay? Also in the textbook, there is a reference given to a YouTube video which talks about the history of how Linux was created, and I believe that video is endless. It has got a lot of misinformation. Please ignore that. Go to the Wikipedia, go read articles about Linus Torvalds, history of free and open source software, free and open source software, the open source definition, the free software definition, comparison of free and open source licenses. That's the one. Go through it. See how many different types of licenses are there and what are their features. Okay. And the last one I've kept is this Linux command.org. You don't have to take pictures, they will make this whole thing available to you. And it's a text file, so even if you don't have MTP installed, you can just read to this file. It's a text file. Okay. LinuxCommand.org is a beautiful site. He has this entire book available online, which you can go through. It covers a lot of commands, writing scripts, a lot of other useful information. Also, he makes the book available for free download in PDF. He has a companion book also there, which gives you more advanced information. Both books are available online, both are available for download. Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Anybody at this point in time? I'm open for it. Anybody? Sorry, the last part was a bit too fast.